What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the QB Factory Reboot, brought to you by SB Nation and Bleeding Green Nation. We are back. I know, it's been a little while. We took a little break for summer vacay, but we are back and ready to, be consistent and get with it every single week with you guys. So hopefully, you missed us because we definitely missed recording these episodes for you guys. But today is Tuesday, July. Yeah, we're in July 26th. And, as usual, I'm your host, Raichele, Privette, and I am joined by my co-host. I'm a little rusty. I'm joined by my co-host, the one and only QB expert, Mark Schofield. Woo! What's up, Mark? How are you doing?
Raichele, it's great to be back. It's great to be back. Although we were saying before we started recording, it is July. I refuse to accept, though, that summer is over. My family, we do our vacation in August. We're going to Hilton Head for a week. And I'm like, I'm glad everybody's getting back to work. I'm glad to be back here with you. It's very exciting. But like, summer is not over yet. I refuse to believe that, especially because I have a middle schooler now.
Whoa!
It starts sixth grade in the fall. And so I need to push back on that just a little bit, and particularly when he had his little promotion ceremony and stuff. And my buddy who lives across the street, whose son, Joey and Owen, they're like best buddies. Joey's actually their youngest. And he was telling me, like, this is the end of the innocence now. Like, no more innocence. Like, middle school is when it changes. And I'm like, man, I don't need to hear that right now.
Yeah.
But excited to be back. So tell me, what's been going on?
Yes, literally just enjoying life. My highlight of my summer so far, I went on a girls trip. I do a girls trip with my best friends from undergrad every year. And this year we went to Montego Bay, Jamaica. So that was
very nice.
The highlight of my summer, like the horseback ride and the ATV, zip line, and all that good stuff. That was fun. I got to see one of my favorite artists in concert. I'm a huge Chris Brown fan. So I got to see him at Capital One Arena. That was like super, super fun. And yeah,
I saw some of the pictures from Jamaica. It looks like you and I have a different idea of what vacation is all about, because you're like ziplining, you're horse, and I'm like, if I stray more than like 100 feet from the nearest pool, beach, or bar, like it's not like I need to like. I was impressed though.
Yeah, thank you. It definitely. I've learned, depending on who you vacay with, because this group of girls, I feel like they have high expectations and they like to be on go, go, go. Compared to like if I vacay with family, it's more like relaxing, we're chilling, taking it easy. But we were jam-packed, like booked and busy the entire time. I got back and I was exhausted, which should not be the case when you're on vacation. But, hey.
Yeah, I've sometimes learned that you need a vacation from your vacation. Like, and that's even when I just like plant myself next to the pool and like don't move. And so, but much respect for the way you guys went after it. I was impressed.
Thanks. What have your highlights been for the summer?
A lot of coaching. My son, rec league baseball.
Nice.
And then he was on his first like all-star travel team.
Okay.
So coaching him there, but that was a ton of fun. It was a ton of fun because like it was a different group of kids that I coach on the rec team, and so he was making new friends that way. And what was really cool was like the growth in the team and in the kids from like they played in 3 tournaments. In the first tournament, they went 1-1 in pool play, and then you get to the elimination games, and we lost 20-1, like in the first elimination game. It was just like. Owen, though, got our only 2 hits and knocked in our only run, so I was proud of him there. But then our third tournament, we went 2-0 in pool play, and we lost in the championship game.
Okay.
Like we got blown out in that first one. The second one, we made it to the semifinals, and the third one, we lost to the championship game, and the kids got trophies, and that's kind of how it ended. So that part was really cool. In the semifinal game, Owen hit a home run. And like got mobbed by his teammates, and that part was a really fun summer. And that tournament was actually up in Hampstead, Maryland, which is almost on like the Pennsylvania border. And so like we went up overnight, like stayed over and stuff like that. So Owen got like real travel baseball, and so that's been fun. Now the kids are in camp. They've been doing like different camps all summer long. So we're shuffling them around. They're at this like camp now, Valley Mill, where they're learning how to make fires. Like they're like canoeing. Simone made like this like leather backpack yesterday. Like it's been fun.
Is it
What's
like
that?
overnight or they come home every day? Is this overnight or?
Raichele, I would love for them to do like a sleepaway camp. Like I have a buddy. We had a guys' night the other night, and it was just a bunch of dads and somebody else. And his kids all did like sleepaway camps. Like one was in Israel, one was in like Costa Rica.
Whoa!
Like, so he and his wife are like empty nesters. They've had the entire house to themselves all summer long, and I'm just like, please tell me how you do it, because but you know, it's fun, and I suppose this is also a good time to mention my movie quote.
Please.
No idea what they're saying.
Okay.
From the movie of the summer, Top Gun Maverick. Did you see it?
I saw it in my quote. Okay, tell me your quote, because my quote's from Top Gun Maverick as well.
Yeah, mine is there were so many to pick from. No idea what they're saying. And that's like at the end when they're in F-14, and they don't understand what the guys are saying. I had so many to pick from. I'm so happy you saw it.
I mean, you literally, I tell everybody this. I'm always like, I had never even heard of Top Gun until we started recording QB Factory Reboot, and you put me on. I fell in love with the movie. So when Top Gun Maverick came out, I was like, oh, I gotta see this. Like, I know what's going on. So it was so funny. I went and saw it. I loved it. And so I was like, yeah, I'm definitely gonna choose a quote from this. I don't know if you chose this quote before, because I feel like you chose a movie quote from Top Gun, but I went with pretty much "Don't think, just do." That's like a big one. I think everybody knows that one.
Yep.
And applying that to Jalen Hurts, of course. But before we even get to Jalen Hurts, I do want to know, like, what were your thoughts on Top Gun Maverick? Like, I know your expectations were high because you're
my expectations were sky high, Raichele.
Yeah.
And they were surpassed. Like the entire movie was just like fan service. Like I get it. Like from the love interest, from the F-14, like the entire movie from start to finish was like complete fan service. But I loved every second of it. Like I haven't fist pumped in a movie theater in years, and I actually did at the end. Like when he does the flyby at the end, just like that was just perfect. I mean, everything about it I loved, like the Val Kilmer stuff, like and Miles Teller was put on Earth to play that character because he looks so much like Goose.
I thought so too. I was like, well, they did a good job casting.
Yeah, I mean, I loved it. What did you think?
I loved it too. Like I had watched. After I went back and watched a lot of like the behind the scenes, because I was like, this is like official. Just wanted to know, like, are they really doing this? You know, I'm sure they had to go through a lot of training. So I watched a lot of those like behind the scenes videos, and I was just fascinated. You know, we're from Maryland, so I'm familiar with, I live in Annapolis, and I'm familiar with Blue Angels. Like that's like a tradition we do every year, going to see it. But seeing the training that the cast had to do in order to like fly in the actual like movie, I was like, oh, they're official. Like this is legit stuff.
Did you see there's this like 15-minute video where Tom Cruise and James Corbin, you know him from like the Late Late Show, like he's the British guy that does like a show over here.
Yes.
And they get together for like 2 or 3 days, and it's before the movie comes out. And Tom Cruise takes him up in like 3 different kinds of planes, like included, like not an F-18 like in this, but like an F-5 or something. And he's like doing barrel rolls, and Tom Cruise is flying the plane. And it's just like, that dude's insane.
He's
like,
insane.
Have you seen the Mission Impossible movies with him?
No.
Like there's one there's a scene set in Dubai, and it's the Burj Dubai, the Burj Khalifa. It's had a couple different names. That ridiculously tall building that you could not ever get me to the top of.
Okay.
There's a scene in the movie where he's like, you know, rappelling down the side of it and things like that. He did most of the stunts.
That's what they were saying. Like in the behind the scenes, they were like, this is the first time that he's been like, I want to do it. And
there's another Mission Impossible movie where there's a scene where there's this huge like military cargo jet taking off. And he clings to the side of the door on the outside. And he did it himself.
That's what they were talking about.
Yeah, he's insane.
I love it though. I'm here for it. You know, because you're getting in the like at the end, the scene where he was I guess driving the plane or whatever, and his love interest was in there with him. They said that he was really the pilot. And that was his like jet. That was his personally. So I was like, whoa.
That was one of the planes that he took James Corbin up in. It's like the
Okay.
old Thunderbolt or PF-51 Mustang
Yeah.
from World War II. Yeah, but I mean, I love, and the love interest was like such a like reference to the first one.
Yes.
Like, I mean, it was really well done. I'm trying to sneak out to see it again. I don't know
Yeah.
if I'm going
I
to.
will too.
Yeah. And I've been listening to the soundtrack all the time.
Yeah, I have to do better listening to the soundtrack. They were talking about that in one of the interviews too. And I'm not a big like soundtrack person, but I
Yeah.
was like, this one, they said everybody says it's amazing. So I need to go and like actually take time to just
It's
listen.
really good. And they also have the Miles Teller Great Balls of Fire on it,
Yes.
which
And
is
he did a great
really
job.
fun.
Yeah.
Like, I was listening to it. I was at the pool the other day, and I found myself like doing the air piano, and I was like there like a Thursday afternoon, and all the like moms and dads that were there with the kids were kind of like looking at me like da, 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 da.
They should have known what you were doing. They should
Yeah,
have automatically, it should have clicked for them.
yeah.
You know?
Last bit about music, not to jump ship too much here. My favorite part of the summer tournament with my son,
Yeah.
the walk up music we had.
Okay. All
Because
right.
kids were picking like walk-up music and stuff,
Yeah.
and you've got 10-year-old kids like picking songs, and it was really there was a lot of Imagine Dragons, a lot of
Okay.
Imagine Dragons fans. My son, we gave him a ton of different options. He ended up picking Sandstorm
Sandstorm?
by Darude.
Okay.
And it's like techno dance hall, but you
I
hear
love
it at like stadiums. You hear it at arenas. Like I think the Phoenix Suns used it for a while.
Okay.
That's what he went with, and it was hilarious because I'd be out there coaching the bases when he gets up,
Yeah.
and you see parents from other teams being like,
Okay. That's their song.
"Yeah." I mean, it very much threaded the needle of like the 40 to 48 crowd. You
Yeah.
know that the parents are these kids,
Yeah.
so that was pretty
Well, I
funny. But
learned that your son is a superstar, superstar in the making when it comes to baseball, and he has a good taste of music.
yeah, I mean, yeah,
Cool kid.
yeah, we tried. I mean, we tried, but it's been a fun summer. It's been a fun summer. I refuse to admit that it's almost over.
Yeah.
I mean, it's nice to have training camp back. And gentle listeners, we are going to talk about football in a couple minutes here. But it's nice to have football back. But it's still just July. Like, I mean, I walked into Giant yesterday, Raichele, and
Yeah.
how much I love October.
Yes, I know.
But I saw some Halloween Reese's and I was like, come on.
Already?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. People
I know.
Wait, they're so impatient.
I know. I mean, we're going to start seeing, Christmas and Hanukkah stuff soon here. And I'm just,
no.
slow down.
I know. I'm not that big of a fan, but it's okay. It's okay. I think this is the longest we've probably ever just like kind of rambled and just talked. But I feel like it was only right because we've, been gone for a minute.
Yeah.
But
people probably forgot who we are.
They probably did. Some people have been like, when are you guys getting back to recording? And I'm like, it's coming.
Although that is nice to see, right? When people are like, hey, can you guys start doing shows again? It's like, oh, they haven't forgotten about us.
Yeah, exactly. So, it's only up from here.
Yeah.
So I'm excited. But before we even get into the Jalen Hurts stuff, we're at a 13-minute mark. So let's take a really, really quick break. And then when we come back, we're going to dive into the Athletic article ranking like the different quarterbacks. So we'll be right back. And we're back. Did you miss us? I think you did, but we missed you too. We're back. And so like we promised, we're going to jump right into it. I'm sure a lot of you guys have seen it by now, but there's this Athletic article by Mike Sando, and he does the QB tiers. Like he's ranking like the different quarterbacks, polling them. He polled the different NFL executives around the league or whatever. And so they're pretty much taking a look at all of the different quarterbacks and like what tier they fall in. And I don't know if this is a surprise or like, I don't know how people feel about this, but Jalen Hurts ranked number 20th and he was tied with Carson Wentz, which to me, I already talked to Mike Kiss earlier today. And I was like, that's definitely messy. You know what I'm saying? Like they knew what they were doing with this, but they have them ranked in tiers 1, 2, and 3. And Jalen Hurts falls under tier 3. So looking at tier 1, it says a tier 1 quarterback can carry his team each week. The team wins because of him. We talk about that all the time, win because versus win with. And he expertly expertly handles pure passing situations. He has no real holes in his game. Tier two, that quarterback can carry his team sometimes, but not as consistently. He can handle pure passing situation in doses or possesses other dimensions that are special enough to elevate him above tier three. He has a hole or two in his game. And then looking at tier three, where Jalen Hurts falls, it says a tier three quarterback is a legitimate starter, but needs a heavier running game or defensive component to win. A lower volume drop back passing offense suits him best. And so, do you agree with the placement that Jalen Hurts falls in?
Yeah, I kind of agree with it right now.
Yeah.
I mean, I think, you know, the ultimate question, and I've already been asked this with respect to Hurts this summer, is what do you want to see from him by the end of the year? And I've kind of said that, like, I want to see him in tier two. Like, you want to see him get to year two when the year is sort of said and done. I mean, I think right now that kind of describes him, kind of describes what we saw last year, right? Like, you know, needs a run game, needs a good defense around him. Like, you'd agree with it, right?
I agree. The key phrase you just mentioned it was needs the running game, a heavier running game. And we saw that as soon as they switched to the running game, they saw that that worked to Jalen Hurts' strength. And so as of right now, and I definitely feel that he falls under that tier three. Do you think it's possible to see him elevate to tier one? Could you see him elevating to tier one?
I mean, that's going to be a multi-year thing.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, could he get there? Yeah. I mean, I think he could. But you see, look at a tier one. You've got the guys you expect, right? Rodgers, Mahomes, Brady, Allen. And then the two younger guys, which Herbert and Burrow, I mean, I guess you could put them there. I'd say if it were me, I'd kind of say they're the top of tier two right now.
Okay.
But I mean, I understand why people sort of have them there. You know, push comes to shove, I'm not going to get too upset about it. What would Hurts have to do to get there? I mean, he'd have to have the ability to just take games over with his arm mostly, right? Yeah. Because the way they describe it, like definitionally, it's like, you know, expertly handles pure passing situations, like 3rd and 7, making throws from the pocket. That's the stuff that we're waiting to see from Hurts right now, right? To do consistently. And can he do it? Yeah. That would be incredible, though, if he gets there like this year. I'm thinking ideal developmental track. It's like tier two, you know, next summer, then tier one the summer after that. Can he do it? Yeah, he can do it, right? He can do it. Right?
I feel like it's possible. I'm not going to say he can't. I would never be the one to say that about him. But like you said, I don't think that's going to happen this year because that requires a huge jump. You know, it would be requiring him to skip tier two, you know, in a way. Like, I don't know if we're going to see that much of a jump. I'm hoping that he does make improvements in those areas that he lacked in last season, though.
Are there any quarterbacks, tier 1, 2, 3, 4, or the curious tier 5, that sort of threw you for a loop, that you were just kind of like, no.
You saw there's a tier 5? Hold up. Wait, what?
There's a tier 5.
Okay. Oh, yeah. Let me scroll down for that one.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, that's kind of mean, man.
Yeah, whoa. Okay, that makes me feel better about Jalen Hurts for sure. But I'm like,
for those of you that haven't seen it, they've got a tier 5, which is described as a quarterback who is best suited as a backup. And there's one name there, and it's Geno Smith.
Dang.
Which is just, friends, that's kind of mean. Like, just slide him into the bottom of tier 4.
Yeah, yeah. Oh man, that's kind of harsh.
And here's the thing. I wrote a couple weeks ago that Geno could win that job. So maybe I'm the one that's wrong. It's just entirely likely. But I just thought
motivate him, you know?
Yeah.
That really will motivate him.
I mean, I thought that sort of jumped out to me. Okay. Other than that, like nothing really stood out. I mean, yeah, nothing really stood out other than that. Like, I think every sort of tier was just kind of like, yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
I mean, did anything else jump out to you?
I don't think anything jumped out to me as far as like how, like who fell where. I think that kind of made a little bit of sense. Do you know who determines how the tiers are classified?
I think that's kind of Mike Sando's doing. I'm
Okay.
not positive on that though. And, you know, I kind of like the way they tier them. I mean, I
Okay.
think it makes sense in terms of, because we always talk about win with, win because of. So
Yeah.
we kind of blend tiers 2 and 3 when we've done it. I like the way they sort of differentiate between that,
Yeah.
you know, to make it a little bit more detailed. Like, you know, the tier 2 guy is somebody that can almost look like a tier 1 guy, but just doesn't do it consistently.
I
And
like
the
that.
the tier 3 guy is like somebody that really sort of needs like scheme help, defensive help, things like that.
Yeah.
Not going to really carry the team, but you can win with. Like, I think that's kind of how they do it, and I
Yeah.
like that.
Because I feel like I'm definitely a little biased. You know, if anybody listens to SB Nation NFL show, whatever, a lot of people know how I feel about certain quarterbacks like Jalen Hurts, and I compare him a lot to Lamar Jackson for a reason. So looking at the definition of what tier 1 is considered when looking at like passing game, I see
Right.
why like, the players like Lamar fall under tier 2, but I feel like I could see him in tier 1, not because of passing, but if it was tweaked to talk about,
Right.
Just win with versus win because of quarterback, I feel like some of those tier 2 quarterbacks could fall under the tier 1. But if we're looking at passing alone, then I understand why they're in tier 2.
Let me, since you brought him up,
Yeah.
has the discourse about Lamar been the dumbest part of this summer, or just like the second dumbest part of the summer?
It pisses me off. Like it blows my mind because I just don't think that it's fair that when you look at his resume and you see what he's done as a young quarterback, how people still don't respect him because he's different, because it's not like the traditional playing style. And yesterday on the SB Nation NFL show, I brought up to RJ and Michael Peterson, I was just asking them, like, what do you guys think? Because somebody on this, it was on this, I think, talking about even if he wins 11
12
MVPs, like he still won't be, I don't know what it said exactly, but it was along those lines.
It said, even if he wins 12 MVPs, he still won't be quarterback 1. He might be football player 1, which is one of the most absurd things I've ever heard.
And I'm like, so, and it was crazy because I think it was Michael Peterson was mentioning how like he really honestly thinks that even if Lamar was to win a Super Bowl, it still wouldn't be enough. Like people would still have stuff to say about him. And that just frustrates me because there are elite quarterbacks who haven't won Super Bowls and you guys praise them so much. So when I'm like, just because of his playing style, is that the reason that he's not getting the respect? That's what frustrates me. So I just want him to prove otherwise. Like I really just want him to prove them otherwise. Yeah, because for other quarterbacks similar, like the Jalen Hurts, I think, you know, we never saw like Mike Vick get a Super Bowl. So it's like quarterback playing styles, they're kind of like viewed as like that underdog, like you just don't see it happening, really, you know. It's more pressure on them.
The game has changed. I mean, the game has changed towards, you know, having explosive athletes at the quarterback position that can beat you in a variety of ways. And almost in a sense, like that tier 1 definition expertly handles pure passing situations. Like you said, that sort of almost tilts the scale in a bit.
It does.
Like when you've got like Joe Burrow and Justin Herbert, I mean, they're not Murray, they're not, you know, Lamar, they're not Jalen Hurts type of athletes. Like it kind of tilts the scale. And you know, there's more than one way to beat a defense. There's more than one way to break down a defense. And we just saw Kyler get a multi-year deal, although apparently he needs to watch film or film or something like that. We're expecting a Lamar deal, you know, depending on how Hurts does, we might get a Hurts deal down the road. And so there's more ways to beat defenses than just making throws from the pocket on 3rd and 7.
Yes. But like you said, until one of those quarterbacks win a Super Bowl, we're not going, like, you don't really have anything to defend it.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
That's what I'm kind of just like, okay, until it happens, like, what can you really say?
Right. I mean, but at the same time, it's like, you know, QB wins aren't a stat, right?
Yeah.
Like, winning, yes, that's how quarterbacks, unfortunately or fortunately, however you want to phrase it, are judged. But there's more to play in the position. Like, Justin Herbert hasn't been in the playoffs yet.
Yeah.
I mean, he's in tier 1.
We talk about it? Talk about it. Like, what? That's why I'm confused. That's why I'm confused.
Justin Herbert is a very talented quarterback. Like,
Yeah.
don't get me wrong, but like, it seems like we're just using different scales for these guys sometimes.
Yeah. Nothing new. Not really surprised. You know, it is what it is.
Yeah. But, I mean, like Maverick said, I can't hear what they're saying, right?
Yeah. Honestly.
Or like you said, what?
Yeah.
Don't talk about it, just do it.
Just do it. We just got to do it. And so that's what I want to see Hurts do. And I was like, I think you need to, you talk about this all the time, but I think you need to remind the listeners, even though we're going into training camp, I don't think this is the end all be all. So like you say this all the time, you know, patience.
Yeah.
So take it day by day. And I think that people are going to be prepared to overreact. Every day we're going to be talking about what do we see from Jalen Hurts. So I just hope that it's not after week one, oh, I don't know how he's going to perform, but if he doesn't perform at this high level, people are like, oh, he hasn't been working this offseason and he's not going to be that quarterback. Like they're already trashing him after.
Yeah. I mean, there were reports from like OTAs and minicamp about how like, oh, he struggled and things like that. Like I'm old enough to remember when Patrick Mahomes, the training camp before his first year as the full-time starter, was throwing interceptions left and right. And people were saying, see, he's too risky. He takes too many chances. Training camp, OTAs, minicamp, that's the time to like sort of test things. And that's what Mahomes was doing. And you've seen what he could and could not get away with. There's also, I mean, we're doing this. It is now 11:16 on the East Coast on Tuesday morning. Okay. I say that because right before we hopped on, I was on Twitter and I saw reports that Trevor Lawrence was 17 of 17 in 7-on-7s today at practice. Like that's what we're going to start seeing. Okay. And there's inevitably going to be a day where some young quarterback is like 7 of 17.
Yeah.
And everybody's going to lose their mind, whether it's Hurts, whether it's Mac Jones, whoever.
Mm-hmm.
It's practice.
Yeah.
We're talking about practice. Like, Allen Iverson style kids. All right. And so if you get 7 of 17 in the first half of week one, then maybe, you know, you start to feel a little nervous. We're talking, it's not even August yet, people.
Yeah.
We have a long way to go.
Yes.
Okay. So let's be patient.
It's like be prepared for it because we know we're going to hear it. We know we're going to hear it, but don't run with it.
By the time we record next week, we might have a couple of practices where people have started to freak out.
Yes.
And we might have to talk people down.
Calm down, people. Calm down.
We're still in summer vacation mode, people. Like, relax, get a pina colada, go for a walk, touch some grass.
Do some yoga, you know.
Do some yoga, meditate. We got up to Boston, and my niece, Summer, she's like 5.
Okay.
She does yoga and meditation. Okay. And so, you know, one day we were at dinner, and at the end of the table, I looked down, and Summer's like meditating. She's got her legs crossed. She's got her hands like this. And it was one of the most adorable things I've ever seen. So
that is cute.
Take a cue from Summer and just go meditate a little bit. If you start to get freaked out over Jalen Hurts putting up 7 of 17 in a practice.
I agree. Yeah. I agree. And I mean, that's all I have to say. Like I said, we're not going to get ahead of ourselves on this episode. This was like, we're easing back into it. We're still coasting, you know? Yeah. So I think that was good, you know, just to touch on a little bit. Do you have anything that you want to say before we wrap things up?
Just stay calm, people. Like, keep the faith. Like, it's a long process. We're just getting rolling. Don't overreact.
Yeah.
It's going to be okay.
Yes. And like we mentioned earlier, we are back, you know, to get you guys into this season. So we'll be here for training camp. We'll be here for preseason. And then literally the season is going to be starting. And
then we could start wildly overreacting.
When we get real, you know, then we can start getting
when they keep score for real, that's when we can start sort of
yes. But until then, you know, make sure you guys are tuning in every single week for the QB Factory Reboot. Don't forget to rate, don't forget to leave a review, don't forget to follow us on social media. You can follow us on Twitter at BGN_radio and follow us on Instagram at Bleeding Green Insta. So the content definitely is about to start cranking up, and so make sure you stay tuned for that. But yeah, any last words, Mark, before we let it go?
Oh, go see Top Gun Maverick if you haven't seen it yet. It gets thumbs up from both Raichele and I, so definitely go check it out. And as always, go Eagles.
Go Eagles.